Good morning, Mr. Daniel. Um, it's a pleasure having you here. I've been a regular visitor to a Lomba Perspective, your site, and your brother team. We've been in touch. Thank you for your concern on what is happening in southern Kaduna. It is disturbing, and unfortunately for us, the Nigerian media have been downplaying what is really happening. There are a lot of conspiracy theories, there are a lot of contradictions, there are a lot of brouhaha, especially in the media, where some people are bent on changing narratives instead of bringing the killings to a permanent stop. As an indigene of southern Kaduna, I have only one narrative, and that is the fact that there's an ongoing terrorist invasion on our ancestral land. We are not talking about one local government or one community. We are talking about 6 local governments that are under this invasion. And why I call it an invasion, because if you look at what is really happening, or when you critically analyze the devastation, the damage, the nature of these attacks, you will understand that it is beyond what the government is saying, because the government is of the opinion, or they are alleging, that these killings are political and they are revenge killings. It will be recalled that in 2016, when this latest waves of attacks started in southern Kaduna, 31st of May to be precise, the narrative by the Nigerian media then was that the killings are being perpetrated by unknown gunmen, and the government too were selling that narrative, that unknown gunmen, they don't know them. Later, the narrative changed to farmers herders clashes, and then later to banditry, and then it metamorphosed again to communal clashes, and today we have the issue of revenge killings and political whatever. So you see, the government itself has not been consistent in its narrative. They keep changing narrative. We've had 5 different narratives in the past 4 years. So it goes to show you that it's either the government is not acknowledging what the actual problem is, or the government is just being maliciously selling the wrong narrative. And this goes a long way to show why the security agencies have not been able to curtail the killing, because they have been misinformed. The government briefed them that, look, there are clashes, or ethnic clashes, or communal clashes. So they go to southern Kaduna with the mindset that they are going to quell a crisis resulting from communal clashes. But then when they get there, they are overwhelmed, because these guys coming to attack are well armed, they are sophisticated, they have all the weapons of warfare. So when they come in, they are heavily armed, they attack, their firepower are sometimes even superior than that of the security. So they attack, they overrun communities, and retreat back to their base. The nature of these attacks: sleeping communities, and even sometimes in broad daylight, will be surrounded by armed gunmen, well armed, sometimes in their 100, sometimes on motorbikes, and they open fire sporadically. So now, I think why they shoot sporadically is to get the people to leave their houses. Now, as these people run for their lives, sometimes they get caught up by bullets, flying bullets, of course, because these guys have all the ammunitions to shoot anyhow, and the ones that the bullet couldn't kill at once will now be butchered, you know. And sometimes they go into people's house and butcher them like animals. So it is really disturbing. So there've never been any case where the southern Kaduna people, because the guys coming to attack our communities, they come from somewhere. Even though yes, there's a collaboration between them and the local headers who live around. Now also we believe that there's a collaboration between the mercenaries or the armed terrorists attacking our communities and the local Fulanis who some of who have lived with us for 20, 30, 40, and even 50 years. Now let me prove it. In most occasions, before every attack, the local Fulani people around move their cattle and their families and migrate out of our communities. Now, most times between 24 to 48 hours before attacks. Now, it became a pointer that whenever we see them moving their things out of our communities, we know there's an imminent attack. So it makes us believe that, look, these guys are aware, the local Fulani people are aware, and we have instances where the attackers retreat to the local Fulani settlement and take cover there before they finally make their way back to the forest where they obviously come from. So it is a terrorist invasion, going by the nature of the attack, and also the fact that these attackers come from somewhere and retreat to somewhere. So, and the security has not been doing enough. Like I said, they seem overwhelmed. Uh, so that's the situation. We have humanitarian crisis growing. We currently have over 50,000 displaced people. In Kajuru local government alone, we have over 30,000. In Zongon Katav, we have in thousands. In Jama'a, in Kaura, in Kauru, we all have displaced persons. And another point is the government doesn't care about these displaced persons. There's nothing being done to help alleviate their suffering. They are left to fend for themselves, and they are now beggars. In fact, they had to depend on donations from individuals and their religious organizations to survive. So that's how bad it is. Like, the government has not only failed to protect our lives and our properties, the government has also failed to even help us return back to our communities or even alleviate the suffering of what to eat, what to drink, what to wear, and where to sleep. So it is that bad. And we have instances where some communities where the indigenous people have been displaced. You have the herdsmen coming to inhabit these communities. So it also goes to show that the whole idea is to get these people displaced, wipe them off their communities, and occupy the land. So that's how bad it is. And so I'll be willing to answer any question you have. Thank you very much.